Freedom is forever. 106.5 Freedom FM.
Very pleasant good afternoon to you on this Sunday, the 27th of July. It means that we are heading into August, and it's the third anniversary coming up pretty soon of this St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration in office. And what wonderful achievements they have made leading up to this third year anniversary. As usual, I want to say a very pleasant good afternoon to all, wherever you are, whether you're at home in St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you're in the diaspora, deep and wide. You know, once you hear our late, great Melly Hewlett on Pan on a Sunday afternoon featuring another of our greats, King Elimat, Viva St. Kitts, that it is time for the conversation with yours truly, Austin Edinburgh. Let me begin as usual by celebrating with those who are celebrating for this week, whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, graduation anniversary, whether you're celebrating a particular year of graduation from a particular institution, whatever it is that you are celebrating, I want to share that moment with you, and I want to wish you lots of fun, joy, and most importantly, love. I mean, you just listen to Lionel Richie, Elton John, Bee Gees, Billy Joel, and others, and it was all about love, That's what we need to give to each other. That's what we need to give to ourselves. A little bit of love, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of understanding. There will always be difficulties in life. But like I say, when you're celebrating, do so with peace, joy, and love. I also want to wish those who are ailing, I want to wish you speedy recovery, whether it is serious ailment or minor ailment, whatever it is that you are suffering from. I want to wish you speedy and a full recovery. And I always say to you, don't stress yourself. Don't stress yourself during recovery. It makes it so much harder for you to recover. If the body has to deal with stress, can't deal with anything else. Stress is a powerful negative impact on your being, your mental, your social, and your physical being. And so you have to be positive whatever it is that you're suffering from. Be positive. Look towards recuperation and stop stressing on the ailment. That is how you will get a speedy and a full recovery. And anyone who, over the past week and going into this week, anyone who have lost a loved one over the past week, I want to say to you my deepest condolences. Grief is personal. And I know that no matter what anybody said to you, you're going to grieve the way you know how, the way you want to. But when you're grieving, remember that you're yet alive. If you were not alive, you couldn't grieve. And so in grief, there is life, because the person who is grieving is yet alive. And I want you to think about that and, do whatever is necessary so you can get over your grief and that you can move on positively. I want you to dig deep within yourself, because that's where the strength lies. That's where your pillar of strength lies. And if you dig deep within yourself, you'll find the strength to move on, to get over the grief and live again. That's what I want to wish all of you who would have lost a loved one. Now, tonight, I am going to touch a number of subject matters, and I'm going to read as well some correspondences for you. I'm going to look at the way, some of the steps that are taken when benefits, retirement benefits, are computed. Because when it is calculated, it is not just that's it and it goes and whatever you assume that the figure is that it's that's what will be paid. Even your HR department in government, they may have a particular figure, and then the file has to come back for them for whatever reasons and so forth before it gets to the Treasury. And so I want to touch a little bit on that. I also want to speak to a really ridiculous statement that Timothy Harris made. I don't have it lined up, but I will return to it, because he said St. Kitts is insignificant. St. Kitts is insignificant for him, because that's how he thinks of St. Kitts and Nevis and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Size does not connote significance. Yes, we are small, and there's nothing wrong in saying we are small, but that does not make us insignificant. And to hear a former prime minister and a person who still wants you to consider him again for prime minister, saying that in the scheme of things, whatever things you are imagining, that St. Kitts and Nevis is insignificant, it is just unbecoming of a former leader or anyone who wants to lead or wants to lead again. And so I will deal with that a little bit as well. And, a few people in St. Kitts have spoken to me about the geothermal and how they feel about it, and the fair share, and so, and the whole issue of Nevis, and I would deal with it, and I'm hoping that when I deal with these things, that this is not to generate vexation, but to provide information and to bring calm, because they are important decisions for us to make. I will take a deep dive into it maybe next week, but I'll touch the surface now. But for next week, as I will take a deep dive into the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis, I want to encourage anyone, because this is not things that I'm just saying. So I want to encourage you to go onto YouTube and type my name in, and you will see a presentation that I did in Nevis. And the title of it is The Relationship Between St. Kitts and Nevis, Past, Present, and Future. So you'll get a good understanding of where I'm heading, so that when I speak next week on it in depthly, you would not think that it is something that I'm just thinking up now. So that's what I will invite you to do until next week, when we really look seriously at the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis, and I will attempt to have one or two persons in with me, persons from St. Kitts, persons from Nevis, if that is possible. But I will delve into it, and I will try my best to have some guests, two guests in with me to discuss that matter. And of course, they may reflect on some of the things that I would speak about this afternoon. So let us get back to benefits, retirement benefits. There are two types of benefit that a person can get at the time of retirement, and it has to, one is a gratuity and the other is a pension. Sometimes at retirement you qualify only for a gratuity, because if you leave the service after 10 years but before 15 years, you will not qualify for a pension. You will qualify only for gratuity. And that would be a reduced gratuity, an early gratuity. And so if it is early, it means that you would get less. You can also would have served 15 years, or maybe even 20 years, maybe up to 24 years, or even 25, and would qualify for both a gratuity and a pension upon retirement. But if you are not yet 50, 55, depending on the circumstances around your years of service, you will get your gratuity, but you will have to wait for your pension. And then there are times when you retire and you qualify for both your gratuity and your pension upon retirement. Those are the scenarios. But there is computations to do. And so, the law will say 1 month, but sometimes HR would say it's better, if you're going to retire, to give more time, so that when your retirement date comes, all of the computation would be done, and your check would be at the Treasury. Now, what are the things that need to happen? One, HR would have to get your file and look at the number of days that you have worked, or years, sorry, it is days, but let me say years, the number of days that years that you have worked, and to initially see what your benefits are. Once that is done, I think the calculations are done at the Treasury once HR sends the file. But when that is done, it goes to the Director of Audit. And the Director of Audit would have to check and ensure that what you are getting is what you should get. sometimes that along the process, there can be delays for whatever reason. Whether it is because HR did not look at something that the director of audit has seen and would send it back to them to get that particular thing looked at and worked out and so forth. And then when all that calculation is done and decision is made and your check is prepared, a person may still query what they're getting. That should not, with good advice, delay what is there in terms of you receiving payment. But some people may decide to leave it there, and that will create further delays. So it is not just that people are sitting, there's just your retirement date and everything is just there, and your checks are prepared and you're paid your money. There are checks and balances that would have to be undertaken, and in particular, the person with the constitutional authority is the director of audit. The director of audit will have to agree and sign off on it before checks are prepared. Now, if for some reason any person thinks that they should get more, for whatever reason, yes, you make a query. But that is not the same thing as your checks have not been prepared. That's not true. There is a difference of opinion on what the quantum should be. But the process would have already taken place according to the files. A computation would have been made, signed off on by the director of audit, and your checks would have been prepared. But hey, I think I should get more. Whatever the reason is. This is not to say you're wrong, but you lodge your complaint. That would be investigated, and if you are entitled to more, you will get the more in a subsequent check. But it's unfair and untrue. If anybody who has that situation goes around saying that their benefits have not been computed, anybody. And so I am just at this time giving information that could assist persons with respect to getting their benefits in a timely manner. Don't wait until 1 month before, because you may have vacation leave. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. And you're on vacation and you're receiving your salary. If they said, okay, they call it pre-retirement leave. So if you're on pre-retirement leave, you would be getting your salary at that time based on the vacation that you have. And during that time is when the computation would be done in terms of your benefit and what you are entitled to. It's best to do it that way. But even more important, if you're planning to retire, before you send in your documents, you should go to HR and find out what they have on file to see if what you have, the information that you have, and the information that HR has on file are the same thing. Those things are important to delay computations, to prevent a check being prepared and you, for whatever reason, you're saying it is not what you should get, you should be getting more. These are things that should be done. I know that most of us know when we are ready to leave. And if we are ready to leave, we are ready to leave. But you should also make yourself available for some discussions with HR as to whether or not this is the best time for you to leave. What your benefits would be now, as against if you do it 3 months later or even a month later in terms of the date. Because those things could make a difference in your final checks. And if you have one understanding of why you think that you should get a certain amount, but your file is saying something else, then if you know that beforehand, then there can be some adjustments where it is necessary. Whether in terms of the way one person is thinking over another, or whether or not the person who has a particular computation is justified, and so that correction would be made. I know when we feel, sometimes we get frustrated for whatever reason, and we think we don't want to talk to anybody. This is what I want out, and I have in my ears, and I'm going to retire. Having a conversation with HR and having some consultation with them is not preventing you from going if you want to go. But you'll get the best information. You will avoid delays. And it is the one thing I've listened to several persons who talk about those things. And then if it's the one thing they don't say, is why. They don't tell you whether or not they went and they had the conversation. They don't tell you about what flaws might be there in the record or what might cause them to be calculating their benefits in a particular way that is later found out not to be so. They don't tell you all of these things. But these are things they could do up front. And if they do them up front, and then there's still a problem, by all means complain. But then you would be able to say, I did so. Ahead of putting in my documents, I was told so. And now the final result is telling me so, which is different to what I was told during the consultation. But if you're not saying those things, it leaves me to wonder if you did the things that would have been necessary to avoid delays. And again, I'm saying, if you are not satisfied with what the check is saying when you would have gone to collect it, make a challenge. But don't walk out and leave the check there. Because you walk out and you leave the check there. If you're wrong, it's not going to improve the check. If you're right, it will improve the check. But you would have still gotten the remaining amount had you taken the check earlier. And whatever discomfort you would be feeling would be less. This is just putting some information out there. This is just speaking to persons who are now thinking about retirement. And even if you're far away from it, it's good information to have. But especially for persons who are thinking of retiring in the near future, go to HR and have a conversation about your retirement benefits before you put in the documents. It helps. It helps to expedite the process. That's what I would say on that particular matter. Now, there are a few things, or two things I want to play. Now, firstly, let me deal with the matter in relation to Nevis and the concerns that have been brought to my attention by Kittitians. I know that we are all Kittitians and Nevisians as part of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, but I don't pretend, and so I won't pretend that we are not Nevisians as of being from Nevis and Kittitians as of being from St. Kitts, because it is a reality that we live every day. And if we bury our heads in the sand and pretend that it doesn't exist, it will always jump up and bite us. Now, someone brought to my attention with respect to, firstly, the geothermal. And the person said to me, which is a Kittitian, that when he listened to Premier Mark Brantley, he's getting the distinct impression that this geothermal is a Nevis thing, belonging to Nevis, and he is not happy about that, because whatever funds is sought to advance the geothermal is sought by St. Kitts and Nevis jointly. Not Nevis looking for funds and then the federal government looking for funds. It is done as a federal project. And so I just want to read what the so here's what it says. There was a resolution that was passed in Parliament on the 22nd of November 2023. I'm trying to, okay. All right. It says, whereas the federal government of St. Christopher and Nevis, the Nevis Island administration equally recognize the critical importance of energy security and the need to transition to sustainable and renewable energy sources. And whereas the federal government of St. Christopher and Nevis and the Nevis Island administration are collaboratively pursuing the development of a geothermal project located at Vaughan's, Nevis. The project to enhance the Federation's energy resilience and reduce dependency on fossil fuels. And whereas the production of geothermal energy will be a significant step towards achieving the goal of full energy independence by harnessing the abundance of geothermal resources in Nevis, and whereas the project has received contingently recoverable grants from funding approval from the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, in the sum of US 17 million, though the CDB's special fund resources allocated from the funding for the Inter-American Development Bank Sustainable Energy Facility, the Green Climate Fund, and the Government of Italy for the development of the first set of production wells. And whereas the Federation and the Nevis Island Assembly are committed to ensuring that the benefits of the project extend to all citizens and residents of St. Christopher and Nevis. Read that paragraph again to you. And whereas the federal government and the Nevis Island administration are committed to ensuring that the benefits of the project extend to all citizens and residents of St. Christopher and Nevis. And whereas the successful implementation of the project is anticipated to contribute a lower energy price, economic growth, and job creation across the Federation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis that the National Assembly acknowledges the potential of the project to enhance energy security, reduce reliance on fossil fuels, and promote sustainable economic development. The National Assembly expresses its support for collaborative efforts between the Federation and the Nevis Island administration in the pursuit of geothermal energy development and the project. The National Assembly affirms that the benefits to be derived from the project shall extend to all citizens and residents of St. Christopher and Nevis. The National Assembly commends the partnership with regional organizations, including the Caribbean Development Bank, the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, and the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, and supports continued collaboration with relevant stakeholders to ensure the success of the project. The National Assembly expresses confidence that the project will contribute significantly to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and advance the Federation commitment to a future of clean, affordable, and renewable energy in its transition into a sustainable island state. There's a particular part that I would like to read again. It says, the National Assembly affirms that the benefits to be derived from the project shall extend to all citizens and residents of St. Christopher and Nevis. Now, of course, there's supposed to be agreements and so forth, to deal with this. But the asset based on this resolution is a federal asset. Based on the resolution, the benefits derived therefrom shall go to the benefit of all citizens and residents in St. Kitts and Nevis. So language is a funny thing. And of course, the person who is listening to what is being said will have his own interpretation. And so that person had a concern, according to them, with how the geothermal is being spoken to as if it's a Nevis thing and this is our thing, while it is the financial resources is that of the federal government and would be repaid by the tax-paying money of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. As a matter of fact, the entity with the responsibility for the loans is the federal government of St. Kitts and Nevis, not the Nevis Island Administration. This is not intended to create vexation. It is just providing information with the hope of bringing some calm to the minds of Kittitians who are concerned. Like I said, the resolution has already been passed, and of course there would be, because that was said at the time as well, there would be agreements and so forth that will come later. And I believe that it is a federal asset and would be treated as such. But it's important. It's important because it's an achievement by the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration. It's an achievement. It's an achievement because this St. Kitts Nevis administration, St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration, decided to put political differences aside and to collaborate on this all-important matter. It's an achievement, but it's an achievement for all the people, all the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I really do believe that it will be treated as such, but I find it important, since this person came to me with that concern, I thought that I would speak to it and read the resolution that was made in the Federal Parliament, which is the Parliament of the Federation. It supersedes the Nevis Island Assembly. The Constitution says that wherever there is a conflict between any law that is made in the Nevis Island Assembly and any law that is made in the National Assembly, the law that is made in the National Assembly takes precedence. I'm saying that so you can understand the weight that this resolution in the Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis has as it relates to the geothermal project. But I was called by a different person. I think it was in the last, or it was, they sent me a clip. I think it was. That's what happened. They sent me a clip of what Premier Mark Brantley said at his press conference in relation to the fair share. And again, and this is a different person, they had concern. Their concern was that Premier Brantley said that there are certain things in the report that he doesn't agree with. And he queried him and said that he was not consulted. I don't know who was consulted. World Bank is a big organization, and if it takes the federal government to ask them to look at this issue of fair share, they have enough people to do the research if they're going to take the assignment on. They're not going to take on an assignment and gone to just, if it's related to person, just gone to one person to get information. They're going to do their own research, which is what was done. And they compiled a report. And it's okay if they don't agree with certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. What I would say is that this St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, again, administration, recognized that this is an important matter, important enough to have an independent, reputable institution look at it and make a recommendation. There can't be anything wrong with that. Of course, the World Bank can't make any laws for us. The World Bank can't dictate how it is done. It's a recommendation. And about where they get figure from, and they appear not to be what he knows and so forth. All of those things is part of the clip that was sent to me. And the concern was, what is this? And so my thing is, firstly, the Constitution has a particular formula as to how revenues collected in St. Kitts and Nevis should be shared if pooled together. Same Constitution, equitably or otherwise, gives the Nevis Island administration the right to divest from that if they consider that more favorable for them, because that's the only reason why it would. And they would keep their revenue collected over there, and the federal government will keep revenue collected over here. But this thing in the Constitution, I don't know if I could call it a clause, that gives that, in my opinion, is not equitable at all. Because when the federal government does anything on behalf of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, it has to pay for it, and Nevis is involved. But yet Nevis keeps the funds collected over there. So maybe that's a concern. Maybe that something like that is what is driving the concern. But that's in the Constitution. That's in the Constitution. And then there was a lot of talk about the non-taxable revenue, such as the CBI, and how that should be shared. And again, I'm saying, Prime Minister Drew, who leads the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration, and of course with the support of Cabinet, thought that it would be best to ask the World Bank to have a look at it and make a recommendation. In my opinion, it's the fairest thing that has been done where that is concerned, because people will throw numbers across the seas, across the narrows, and nobody know how they add up and how they separate and how they divide. And so the World Bank, a reputable financial institution who has the knowledge, the resources, both financial and personnel, to look at this matter, was asked to do so. I share the concern of the gentleman that he goes on a press conference and say that, before there's a meeting between both cabinets to discuss it. So I share that concern. And so I believe, and also there was, and ever so often you hear the question being raised on talk radio, on the public square in St. Kitts, about a government for St. Kitts. Now, the Constitution as written makes no provision for that. But in my mind, while it gives divisions or voters on the Nevis register only the right to speak on the matter of secession, it gives us no such right in St. Kitts on any matter that needs amending in the Constitution. The requirement, actually, is that there is a referendum in St. Kitts and there's a referendum in Nevis on matters, and they would have to be accepted by 60% or 65%, 66%, two-thirds of the voters in both St. Kitts and Nevis for it to pass. So what is that debacle? I think that too needs changing. If, and this goes vice versa, if there is a matter up for a referendum and 98% of the persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, which has the larger population, vote in favor of that referendum, but only 50% of, or even 55%, or even 57%, or even 59% of the people in Nevis vote for it, then that doesn't stand. Well, the issue of a government for St. Kitts is something that I've always contended, and I've spoken about it previously as well. Should be a matter that the people of, and the register of voters in St. Kitts only, so the people, the 8 constituencies in St. Kitts only should vote on such a matter. I believe that it's a matter that we can ask the CCJ to look at as a matter of equity, because you have 2 islands. And let the people of St. Kitts decide whether they want. And I'm not talking about seceding now. It's not even in my mind. But having a government in St. Kitts and a government in Nevis, and then you have a federal government. That might quell some of the vexation. Because let me be frank, I don't believe that we should interfere with the rights given to the people of Nevis to vote to secede if they want to. However, I do believe that after, about 45 years now of independence, or 43 we're going on to, I believe that the time has come for the question to be asked in terms of a sunset vote, so we can move on as a federation, or we can do so separately. But my preference would be, because I believe the vast majority of us in St. Kitts and Nevis would not want to see secession, one or the other. But I believe that we should explore the possibility of the people of St. Kitts alone, in terms of the residents and citizens who are voters on the register of voters for the constituencies in St. Kitts, to have a say on whether or not we wish to have a government for St. Kitts as well. Because, you know, these little concerns, in my opinion, would be better addressed if there's such a change. But let's get back to the concern that was brought to my attention in respect of the two matters. One, the geothermal. I read to you what the resolution said, and I have no reason to believe that the island administration in Nevis would not honor that. Have absolutely no reason to believe so. But of course, persons have raised the concern, and so I thought it would have been nice to read the resolution one more time. Well, it would be already, but I would read it again as I wrap up. Now, I have something else that I would read for you. But before I read it, I want to look at two things. That has come out let me see if I could. I'm looking for a particular I want to play something that was said by the guest speaker at PLP's convention. I'm trying to find it here. I'm trying to find it. Because it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting what some people would say. In relation to maybe I'm looking in the wrong library for it. So let me go to this one and see if I could find it. Okay. Let me see what is there. It's the other one here. All right. Let me read this one. Let me just play you the theme because after that I want to go to the line. So let me just play the theme while I look for this. I would play one of the recordings that I have. And, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing how this 3-year-old administration have turned around the direction in which Social Security was being dragged under the previous administration. It's amazing. I want you to listen to this.
Yeah, come look at this. And I can say this too, it's not because Social Security doesn't have the money, right? They still have maybe about 5-6 months of arrears. It's a processing time and the sheer volume of people would have to process on a monthly basis, the additional new people. In fact, Social Security now has over $20 million on deposit right now, compared to prior years in which they had to mouth.
I went to St. Kitts Social Security scheme and I pulled a few things. Just a few things. And what I find in Social Security, their long-term benefits fund have in it $1,213,914,294. That's St. Kitts. You heard the Prime Minister say that we have $20 million in his thing? I mean, come on, think about it. St. Kitts have half the population, half the size, but we have very little security for our people.
Now, I'm going to play it again in a little bit, but I want you to listen. Because you see, this Social Security, that they wanted to give you the impression there was under so much pressure. Was brought into existence under a former St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration in the 70s. And even though a lot of them were saying don't and were prophets of doom and gloom as to why you should not allow your contributions to be taken out. Social Security in St. Kitts and Nevis is the envy of other schemes. I mean, as a schemes, I'm talking about Social Security or national insurance, as some people may call it. Because it has become and still is one of our great pillars of financial stability in St. Kitts and Nevis. So let me play it again.
Hey, y'all, come look at this. And I can say this too, it's not because Social Security doesn't have the money, right? They still have maybe about 5-6 months of arrears. It's a processing time and the sheer volume of people would have to process on a monthly basis, the new people. In fact, Social Security now has over $20 million on deposit right now, compared to prior years in which they had to mouth.
I went to St. Kitts Social Security scheme and I pulled a few things. Just a few things. And what I find in Social Security, their long-term benefits fund have in it $1,213,914,294. That's St. Kitts. You heard the Prime Minister say that we have $20 million in his thing? I mean, come on, think about it. St. Kitts have half the population, half the size, but we have very little security for our people.
All right. And so, you know, the results speak for themselves. The only political party in St. Kitts that brings things of significance to the development of the people is the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. It was done under Bratcher, Southwell, and Limor. It was done under Dr. Denzel Douglas, and it is now being done under Dr. Terence Shue, Prime Minister and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And so I want to read for you because, you know, like I said, you know, Timothy Harris, and I'll get into that when, you know, some later program, said that St. Kitts is insignificant in the scheme of things. Compared with other countries, we are insignificant. That is what Timothy Harris said. Well, I want you to read what was said here by one of the persons in the so here's what was said. And this is a let me read. It's an achievement, an outstanding achievement bestowed on our present Prime Minister and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And this is the first, certainly the first Kittitian Prime Minister to be receiving this award. To the best of my knowledge, the first Caribbean Prime Minister to be receiving this award. And it is the most influential people of African descent. The most influential people of African descent award. It's a 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award and Trustee, celebrating start on the second international decade on the sidelines of the 80th UN National General Assembly in New York. Dear Prime Minister, it is our distinct honor to inform you that you have been selected by our panel of young global leaders to receive the prestigious 2025 Most Influential People of Africa Descent Lifetime Achievement Award. For your outstanding service and accomplishment in spanning a generation at the Most Influential People of African Descent, MIPAD, a global civil society initiative focused on youth and who supported the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent 2015 to 2024. We will be proud to have recognized you in our global top 100 list as the recipient of one of our highest honors. Previous lifetime honorees include President Barack Obama, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus of the World Health Organization. As one of the all-time greats during our recognition weekend, we would be honored to have you join us to receive the prestigious 2025 Most Influential 100 Lifetime Achievement Award. The award ceremony will be held on Friday, September 26, 2025, at the Harvard Club of New York City, and it is 35 West 44th St. New York, USA. This year is particularly significant to us at MIPAD as we enter into the second UN International Decade for the People of African Descent. With our new leadership team, I warmly invite you to join us in celebrating this milestone. Let's make this year count. We kindly request your positive response regarding attendance on or before July 31st, 2025. We look forward to your favorable confirmation. And it is Jonathan Olufowobi, CEO, Most Influential People of African Descent, MIPAD. Now, why did I read this? Because here you have a former prime minister who has not been considered for such a prestigious honor, and who want you to re-elect him as a prime minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, saying that St. Kitts and Nevis, in the scheme of things, is insignificant. Those were his words in a response to Mr. Bart in relation to this administration reaching out for economic collaboration with African states. But here is our Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Shrew, and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. First time Kittitian to receive such a stellar award. And to the best of my knowledge, first time in the Caribbean. But he has only been serving in this capacity for shy of 3 years. And for such a global organization to recognize his contribution to human development, his contribution to outstanding leadership, well, how they want to give you the impression that his leadership is so bad, that ridiculous poll that they had the other day. If the rest of the world is seeing that he has good leadership skills to the point that they want to recognize him as a recipient of the Most Influential People of African Descent Award. And, okay, let's, telephone number 662-1065, 465-0546, 465-6474. And let's go to the telephone now. Good evening, caller. Okay, we missed that. And kindly call back. But, yes, telephone numbers, 465-1065. 662, sorry, 1065, 465-0546, 465-6474. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Edinburgh. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good, you know. I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty good.
Well, the Lord can make you better, you know.
I don't know about, listen,
You would
perfection
not
is,
really try.
hear me,
Dr. Juncker.
perfection is not attainable. So I will not try to be
Well, sir,
perfect.
he achieved it for you.
Did I say anything about perfection? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I am elated.
Let me go to your story.
I'm elated. Yeah, go ahead.
That while I say, I depend on who recommend you. If anybody should have been Mia Matley. No question about it.
Oh my.
You don't think so?
No.
Have you studied what Mia Matley has done?
Have you studied what this Prime
Matley,
Minister Drew has done?
She's of African descent,
So is Dr. Drew?
but he get the most. Cannot be. I mean, even Dr. Douglas with HIV, how come he didn't get it?
I don't know.
What you get depend on who you know, you know.
Really?
That's right.
So you're saying 3 years he know so much big people that he get in it?
But yeah, politics is one thing, you could buy it.
So all of the accolades that Simmons get, he bought them.
Possible.
All of the accolades that Douglas got, he bought them.
Possible.
All of the accolades that Timothy Harris got, he bought them.
Watch me. I said, it's who you know, you know. And what you do is who you know.
Listen to me.
Sometimes they look in favor. So
It's all right, but listen to me, man.
Let me pass.
Even with just the Aspire program alone, even that alone,
Boy.
even that alone,
Can cope with
I'm just saying, even that alone,
you know, self.
you're not hearing me. You know? Even with the Aspire program, listen, look at what he has done. With respect to geothermal, look at what he has done.
You see, let me get to the geothermal.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear the Prime Minister and Congress. We have, according to the Constitution, anything between building the soil in Nevis belongs to Nevis.
Yeah, of course. Of
In case
course,
you don't know,
in case I don't know,
Nevis asset.
in case I don't know,
In case
what are you talking about?
Asset belong to Nevis.
Hello.
When you go somewhere and you sign as a guarantor.
Hello. This
That
is not
does not make
guarantor.
you the
That is
owner
not,
of
that
the-
is not
You
what
wanna
this.
listen to me? You
Well,
wanna listen to
and
me?
I'm telling you, you're wrong. You're
When
wrong.
you go and sign, you co-sign, you know.
No.
When you give a guarantee, it says in case the person.
This is not a guarantee. There is a resolution. I read the resolution.
Resolution is the same thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The same thing. Saying it does not own the
Hear me.
geothermal.
This is not St. Kitts. St. Kitts doesn't own it. You're right about that.
They don't own it.
You're right, St. Kitts doesn't own it.
But the
But hear me,
the minister-
anything that is a federal asset
What?
is owned by the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Mr. Man,
As long as it is still the Federation.
you better go read it. You better go read it.
While it is, no, hear me, while it is a fact, hear me. Listen to me, while it is a
Nevis
fact,
no right, you know.
hear me, listen to me. While it is a fact that if there is secession, because it is land, the asset in terms of the ownership of the plant,
So Nevis ain't own nothing.
You're not listening to me.
Answer me.
You're not listening to me.
I belong to him.
I am saying
I
to
listen
you,
to you
no,
all
no,
the
no, no, no,
time.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
we have
This is
done
not
this.
what the issue is. The
That
issue is that in the event, hear me again, in the event that there is secession, based on this resolution, in the event that there is secession, of course, the plant belongs to Nevis. It's
Yeah.
over there. Hear me now.
The plant.
Hold on,
Hold up.
Sylvine. There is an agreement and a resolution
That says what?
that says that they will have to continue to provide, regardless to the fact that they've seceded, under the conditions that were agreed to. Or
So doesn't he
hear me, or they will have to pay St. Kitts then, because if there's a secession, the rest of what is owned, they will have to divide it and they will have to pay St. Kitts.
Yeah, but so that
I'm saying that there are conditions.
Does not make it.
But this is not what this discussion was about. For me, I simply addressed the concern that the person had.
Listen to your party, or your party address it. And we have this, and people want to know about it. When you be saying, Anna, sure.
How you mean Nevi saying that? Well, what is wrong with you?
The way you all talk, you be saying, Anna, sure.
So let me ask you a question. Who's in the federation?
What?
Of what is it, or whom is the federation made up? Of St. Kitts and Nevis?
It offers a guarantee in case.
No. Of
By
whom
the
is the federation made up?
loans,
Isn't it the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis? So how are you going to be asking about if Nevis doesn't have no share? What are you talking about?
Because you don't know how national debt goes.
You really think I don't know?
You don't know?
Well, that's okay.
I can tell you.
But you know?
Yes, because you used to work on it.
Well, I don't assume the way you're
need to
talking
go and
now.
learn.
The way you're talking now, it doesn't
Because
sound like you know.
It's an insult to divisions who have been struggling all these years.
Yeah.
Both NRP and CCM. For Labour to come and capture it.
Labour isn't capturing anything. You are misleading people.
Next thing, you keeping me back, you know.
Labour isn't capturing anything.
Let me get to Social Security now.
Yeah.
All when Labour was balling up, they bring it down. Camilla Lawrence, she's my cousin, daughter, said to the whole nation that Social Security is not in any problem because we have $1.2 billion in assets.
So why were you going around? Why were you going around? Why were you going around? Why were you going around telling people just the other day? Why were you going around?
Mr. Man, you know, give credit to Mr. Bradshaw. He started in 78 and he died in 78. In fact, I don't think he started. It's more like St. John Payne. Then Southwell died the year after. Then Limor lost the year after. Tell me what they put in it.
So again, I'm going to ask you.
The credit should go to
What are you talking
Richard
about?
Keynes.
I beg your pardon?
Eh?
Well, let me tell you. Let me say this.
Tell me.
I was around when I heard Richard Keynes say this. When Richard Keynes said to the people of St. Kitts, don't pay no Social Security. I heard him say so.
Yeah, but when they went in,
all I'm telling you, I heard him discouraging me here, Richard Keynes, and Richard Keynes was my friend, so me don't have to lie on him. I heard him personally.
Do you know what
discouraging people from in St. Kitts and Nevis. So don't tell me the credit should go to Richard Keynes.
And Limor promoting
you
socialism. Articles written in there like that.
You know that's an interesting.
They practice it with the cane field. So let me tell you. But the truth is, because Pam was able to pay better wages, build up the economy, the Social Security.
I beg your pardon. So let me ask a question.
And most, if not, give me a chance. Most, if not all of this social programs were done under Pam.
Let me ask a question. The laws that protected Social Security, who Pass the laws.
Pam ain't happy.
Pass the laws?
Yeah, Pam.
Sylvine, Social Security came into being in what year?
78 when Bracha was done.
Oh, so it's 78 is when it came into being. 1978.
Right.
So who brought it in?
I don't know, because Bracha was...
Which political party?
For 2 years.
If we are going to be celebrating the fact that we have Social
One thing
Security
with
now,
Labour, you always get the wrong place.
which...
Saint John Payne.
Oh, my.
Saint John Payne should get the credit.
But of course he should get credit.
Yeah.
Did I say he shouldn't get? I am asking you.
Mr. Southwell died.
I am asking you. Hear me. I am asking you. Under which political party leading an administration did the Social Security come into being?
When Labour lost power, what was the shape of it?
Sylvine.
Check from 1980 to
Sylvine,
1994.
the laws were so strong that they couldn't destroy it.
Number talk facts and
So
facts.
are you saying that when Richard Keynes was discouraging
Labour
people,
started it,
he was
Labour
just trying to create problems? No, me ask you, because you were around as I was around, and I know you heard him personally saying it.
Hello.
Richard Keynes, are you calling
Set up
him?
Social Security.
I'm asking you. So when he was going around during 1977, because let me tell you when this thing started, the discussion about it started since 1976, and you well know that. But when he was going around in 77, 78,
Saying what?
and
Saying what?
discouraging petitions and divisions to allow the percentage to be taken out of their salary to go into Social Security, was he just talking?
You are like half a story, no? You remember what the funding name again?
Oh, boy. Sylvine, is you gonna call the name, you know, because me ain't calling a name, you know. Is you come telling me about the credit should go to Richard Keynes?
Richard Keynes and Pam.
To a man who discouraged it in its infancy?
The Social Security.
I beg your pardon?
You know, Pam recommended Social Security. Because they were saying.
Oh my, Sylvine. That's not true.
Cannot pay any benefits.
That's not true. Because Provident Fund was not intended to be Social Security. When Provident Fund came in, it was a saving scheme. Sylvine, you must not lie to the people. When Provident Fund came up,
The facts.
when Provident Fund came in, it was a saving scheme. That's what it was.
You don't know kind of ready people are working for nothing.
Oh my.
Nothing.
Oh my.
And they were not given any benefits.
It was a
is
saving
what Pam
scheme,
said.
and it came out of the fact that when
What
persons
NY
retire, no, you're not
Pam
going.
said
No, you're not going to have to say on this,
It's better
Sylvine,
to have this
because you are not
Social
going to
Security,
take
because
credit.
You get benefits.
You are not going to take credit.
And who gave,
Pam
who
ain't
gave the
Pam
benefits?
ain't bring up nothing.
Who gave the benefits?
Hear me again. Hear me again. When the Social Security was started,
You could tell the story.
the problem. I'm telling you what was said then. Persons.
Benefits.
What was said? It was a saving scheme, because they say when persons
Was it-
don't
what
work
money
anymore,
was saved?
they are
I mean,
begging, and so they feel
Yes,
that when
it
you
was
get to 60, you should
it
get
was
a
so
saving that they were doing for you
poor.
with interest. Stop lying to the people.
Hi, hello.
Stop
You lie
lying to the
accelerate.
people. And then there was a discussion. There was a discussion within the party about
and they wouldn't do it.
Social
Well,
Security.
People wasn't working for nothing.
It's
under
not
Labour.
something that just happened.
Labor was like slave labor.
That Social Security was considered since 1975. If you go back to the elections, you will see it in the Labor Manifesto.
The money.
They had to get actuaries and all of those kind of people in. So don't fool the
What
people.
about Beacon Heights investment?
Man, I'm
What
talking
about
about who
Beacon
started
Heights
it.
investment?
You like to run up and down the
On
place,
the
eh?
Labour.
I am saying to you that don't give people the impression that it is just something that
By
happened.
Pam,
So it was promised.
Pam suggested.
It was no. Don't tell me no
Social
Pam.
Security. Man, I'm
Stop like
telling you.
stop trying to big up Pam.
Labour
Pam
and
discouraged people.
Labour and
Their
Harper.
words are there. And I could
Labour
tell
and
you,
life go together.
I could tell you that I personally heard Richard Kane saying it. I have nothing against him. Richard Kane was my
Think about,
friend.
you could have leave your money there. Eh?
I'm just saying to
What
you
money?
what happened. So don't.
People were cutting cane for nothing.
Oh my.
Civil service in underpam they gave
Oh
40%,
my. Oh my.
50%
Oh my.
increase.
Oh
They
my.
brought people out of them.
Oh my.
You really need to go do investigation.
You think I would say? Hold on. You think I would say that over the?
I was a civil servant.
No, hear me.
I know.
Do you think that I would say that over the years of the PAM administration, there were
How much
absolutely
is
no
work on
improvement?
there?
No, hold on, man. Do you think that I would say that over the years the PAM was in government, that there was no personal development in the people's lives?
There
I
was
will never
no?
say so. Because that would be a lie. The same way, when Dr. Douglas came in, there were improvements in person's life.
Of course.
When now that Dr. Drew is in for 3 years, now there is also improvement in the personal lives of persons.
That's what people put them in for.
So
They're
then-
doing nobody a favor, you know.
So then, why can't you say that? Why do you have to give the impression?
Did you ever say that unity did anything? I don't hear you make a market.
Really?
No, nothing was done.
Then I believe you don't listen to me. Really?
People vote for you to do something.
Hear me. There would be particular projects and
You all never did either.
policies. There will be particular projects
All
and
offer
policies.
people 600 a year. And no response.
Sylvain.
And remember Jeffrey said, we didn't pay them a cent. What happened to the project?
Sylvain.
And you all are building some inferior quality houses, eh?
Here's what I'm going to say. You have such a problem.
No. A friend of mine get one.
Hear me now, man, Sylvain.
Roof leak,
You have such a
window leak.
You have such a. But don't let me go to the fish pot warehouses, then, please. People are getting
Look,
shocked.
I do it for the people, you know.
So here's what I'm going to say to you, Sylvain. There are particular projects under any government. There are particular projects that would be
point is that
successful.
they give
There are
people
also
who never
particular
belongs their
projects
house to
that
build.
would fail.
And
But
they
you
don't
have to
know why
look
they-
at the general and overall
Anyway, tell me, say,
development.
my friend would like to get a house fixed. Reported it.
Oh
Fixed it
my.
that was leaking.
Oh my, oh my.
When the thing, I said they can't do nothing.
Oh my,
Eh?
oh my, oh
Every time
my.
I say all the heavy rain there, water in the woman's house.
Sylvain, we are
Anyway,
almost
so
getting.
but please,
We're getting to
everybody
the
has
end
to-
of this program.
Mr.
Sylvain,
Brackett, Mr.
3
Brackett
weeks
is
from
here.
today, hear me. Let us make a date for for now. I'm looking at sometime. Let me tell you when I would want you and I to
Stop mumbling now so I can hear you.
take it easy, no man. Sylvain, want
And
you.
have on the earcon.
Yeah, but that is my fault. If you have on the ear can, just tell me the ear can in your ear, so I should talk a little louder. But well, but you can blame me for that. You're real dangerous, you know. Anybody see you there?
Thank God for Jesus. That's when you got Jesus, you know, he look after you.
Here's what I'm going to say, Sylvain. I'm looking at Sunday, 10th, 17th. Sunday the 24th of August.
And what?
Sunday the 24th of August.
Happen to it.
I will come and see you and we will discuss what we're going to discuss
Yeah,
on the
come by
program.
me, come by me. Tell
And
them
it's
you can
going
come
to
by
be-
me, you know. Man, you're an enemy. I'm a good Christian.
I don't know about the Christian part. That's your choice.
Good Christian.
But I'll tell you that everybody know that you and I are not enemies. So that's not an issue.
Bring Curtis book when you come.
But on the 24th, I will
By the way,
give you an opportunity.
before I go, who won the game last night?
Australia. You got to make me say a painful thing, man. Take it easy now, man.
You see, that is what you're doing for Labour. Utilize, I mean,
I am happy when I speak about Labour. To speak about our loss, even though it is the truth. Hear me.
I born on the Labour.
Even though it is the truth, it was painful for me to tell you that we lost. But anyhow, so I'm saying prepare for the 24th, and we're going to have a fair amount of discussion.
Yeah. That's many
okay.
topics.
So I'll come and look for you, and we will plan it, and then I will announce it to
some
the people.
documents, you know. I have some of the statistics. They're down in the archive. You must go archives, man.
I don't go archives, Sylvain. Maybe you don't know, but I do go to the archives. I'm a personal
minimize,
research.
See, when you minimize unities.
Anyhow, you have 1 minute to wrap up because it's time.
I don't join nobody party, because the party won't tell you what to say.
Okay, Sylvain.
You know that, right?
Yes.
You're doing quite a difference. You better make sure you don't follow to you, because you know.
All right. We don't worry about that, man. About fallout and all kind of thing. We are out of time. Thank you for your contribution, and I'll come and visit you. Okay.
Give your wife a kiss on me.
All right. I'll give her a kiss and tell her that you say hello. I mean, I kiss her for you. I mean, I kiss her for you. When I kiss her for me. All right.
To pray. The hurricane season coming here.
Oh no, the hurricane season is here. We will have a good program sometime on the 24th. All right, be good. Thank you very much for your call. All right. Well, let me just say in conclusion. Well, tonight we looked at a few particular matters, but I want to end on the issue of the award being afforded to our Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Xu, as one of the world's most influential people of African descent. It is very important, right? It is very important. And as I say, she says it should be, if I don't think it should be Mia Mottley. Oh, what Sylvain crazy? That I would think it should be Mia Mottley and not Dr. Terence Xu? Dr. Terence Xu, in his last presentation in particular to the United Nations, lift up a lot of weight and was not afraid to deal with topics that could cause a frown by the North. And he spoke well of the African descent. So, for the first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, and to the best of my knowledge, in the Caribbean, one of our young leaders, one of our leaders, is receiving the most influential people of African descent award. Thank you very much for being here, and we will see you next week. Now it is News Desk.
From a bird's eye view of what's happening in the world, here is Judy Liebert.
It's time for the 106.5 Freedom FM News Desk. I am Judy Liebert.
I am Jamiela McPhail.
And with the sports, I'm Leslie Sugar Bowl Morton.
Are you tired of poor commercial printing services? Tired of long lead times, poor print quality, high prices, and broken promises? Contact Bass Printing. Bass Printing is Kittitian-owned by a world-class ink and printing expert. Bass Printing delivers quality, speed, and value guaranteed. At Bass Printing, we care about your printing needs